Woof! Welcome everyone to What Sold This Winter on eBay, Etsy, Facebook, and maybe more. Yes, we're back on our bi-weekly shows with Two Dogs Digs Hall Pass, and today we're here talking about what has sold in sort of January, February period, because it's like deja vu, because like a month ago on this Tuesday when we were supposed to have a What Sold show, it was the sort of hellish tariff time that then disappeared after a week of hell. And here we are a month later, and hey, it's tariff time again. So we will do a teeny tiny tariff talk at the beginning. But we're going to focus more on the fun stuff, which is what sold this winter. And we have our fabulous regular guests. We've got, let me get this to a bigger picture here. We've got, I'm a freaking birthday princess. Lisa, it's her birthday. Happy birthday. We've got Carl, the amazing lazy reseller.
Hey, everyone.
Mr. Fun for Adrian. And down in the basement is sub-basement dog.
The Wheel of Doom.
I don't know why I'm frozen.
I don't know why you're frozen.
There we go. Hi. I was frozen.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I had this little thing and I just did a search. And did you know that today is not only Elisa's birthday, it's Woodstock's.
Oh my God.
Woodstock actually made his very first appearance in the Peanuts comics on March the 4th, 1966.
There you go.
So, Elisa, you're born the same day as Woodstock. Did you know that?
Wow, I'm so happy. What do I say to my fans? Oh.
Did you ever know that? Or is that news?
I knew it was an old election day.
Oh, okay.
and it's the only besides May the 4th be with you. It's only the only day of the calendar that gives you a direction. March 4th. That shall March 4th.
Oh.
I thought it was Beware the Ides of March.
Well, that's the 15th.
Oh, okay.
Ides.
So yes. So we're going to be talking about stuff that has sold in the past couple of months. As a real quickie, how has your January, February, or sort of December, January, February been, everyone? Carl, let's start with you. Has it been good, bad, or indifferent?
I don't listing very much, so I'm only selling something every second day, where I used to sell like 2 things a day. So that's enough. Canada Post screwed me, and then now tariffs are freaking me out. Everything's freaking me out. That's my excuses, at least.
Well, no, it's a good excuse because I think a lot of people are in that sort of world of like I don't know what's going to be happening.
But I do tell you, when I go to the thrift stores, they're empty now, which is kind of nice. Of people.
That's actually I found that too. Actually, I found that there seems to be less people thrifting.
Yeah, I think the popularity of this is
February tariff thing. It's just seems to be a lot less people.
Yeah.
How have your sales been? I know, Elisa, you had like a couple of weeks where you said you sold nothing.
Yeah, I'm in the seller protection program. I can't see. I'm gonna take them off. Okay. The January and February have honestly they've sucked big time. The last I think it was Thursday or Friday, I made a couple really, really big, nice sales on Posh and on eBay, but I haven't sold anything in, since last Friday, like not a thing. But you'll see my good sales, but it has been terrible. I haven't been listing a lot though, like Carl. I've just been ending and relisting because it's the dead of winter and my seasonal affective disorder is like, ramped up. So I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, January normally has not been that bad a month for us. February is usually slow. I think we get into February, March, April, May, and those 4 or 5 months have a tendency to be quite slow to begin with for us. I know when February hits, it's usually a drop. January becomes people shopping after Christmas. But then you get into March, and all I see is people posting about, oh, no one's buying because it's income tax time. And then they say the same thing in April. And then last year, even May and into June, they were pretty low. So we're trying to figure out what to do. We're pivoting all over the place with our sales right now. We're going to show you that most of the sales we're going to show today are actually not on eBay. We're going to be showing you a lot of sales from other platforms as well. Adrian, how's your sales in the past 2 months have been?
It's been really, really slow. People just aren't buying. If it wasn't for the fact that there's always toy soldiers on my site, and there's always collectors who buy from me, and so I'm averaging probably at 4 sales a week, maybe, but they're small. They're like $10, $5, $12, $15. So but for me, it's volume, right? With toy soldiers that actually generate stuff, but with only 2 or 3 being sold in a week, I'm not making any money.
Well, it's actually surprising because I did ask in the craft group how the sales were going for people, and we actually had almost 100 people answer in the group. And it's interesting that I see that we had like 29% said that they were way above or a bit above average.
Wow.
And I asked a couple of the people who were the way aboves what they were selling that was way above, and they literally said the same stuff they normally sell: decor, toy, like just a general mix of things. It wasn't something specific. I expected it to potentially be something like only a video game person, because I know those have a certain sort of fixed like group of people, but no. And then when we went to the other side of things, 27% on par, and then 32% below average, and 11% way below average. So we still ended up with like 44%. So almost half of the people saying that it's not been the best couple of months for us. So
I would go back and ask another question. The people who are above, are they selling to Canadians or Americans? Or both?
Canadians. I know who the people are, and they are Canadians, actually.
Now, who are they selling to?
Selling to Canadians.
Are they selling to Canadians? Actually, I didn't ask that. I can ask that in another poll that I made.
Because I've sold more to Canadians in this 2 months than I have to Americans.
I think we're about. Well, it depends because we've sold more on Facebook in the past 2 months than we've ever sold on Facebook, like in a 2-month period. So
That's all Craig. I do not sell on Facebook.
that's me. Not him at all.
I have no patience.
No way, no how.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to jail for murderizing anyone.
So
I'm
Before we
going
get
to take
into
the
that-
banner off, Craigie.
huh?
I'm going to remove the Hall Pass logo so we can see whoever is up in that corner.
Yep. Okay. So just before we get on to the rest of the show, I want to say a big hi to everybody who is here. We got people, some of you are members of the Kennel Club. Thank you so much for supporting us for the $3 a month. That helps us in trying to do things, especially when things like this are coming up with the de minimis and tariffs, where we're searching all sorts of places to try and make sure we've got the best info for you. So we will say hi. There's Tina's here, Charmaine and Brian. Charmaine actually said that her sales have gone up, which is great. Susan is here, Louette, Carl, of course, you see, Heather and Bob. I know that Greg is watching from his TV instead of at Kathy's. Hi, Greg and Kathy. Joel is here, Janet, another Kathy, Miss Dawn. Hello, everyone except Carl. Marianne, Areta, Jennifer, Susan, Lisa. Let's see. Who else we got that I missed? I saw a name that I don't. Paul, Diana. I saw another name, Lisa, that I didn't recognize. There's Brian. Well, Lisa had 2 sales today after selling 1 thing last week, and they're both staying in town. Hydran. No, there was another name. Julie. If I don't
Was
try
that
to Connect Third. That's a name I don't recognize. Welcome.
That's a friend of mine, a new friend from the flea market. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Canuck Surge. It's the great de minimis orange god. Yes, that's. So before we go into anything else, I'm just gonna quickly do a little tiny talk of tariffs. There's our tiny talk of tariffs. Got a tiny little picture there. And basically what I want to sort of reiterate to everyone is the status of everything as of today, which is March the 4th. Things can change on a regular basis, but in essence, what's happening as of today is if you are shipping anything from Canada, the thing that we have to worry about as Canadians selling into the States is what's known as the de minimis, or the allowable amount that goes into the US without any duty or taxes being put on it. The de minimis was set at $200, and then Obama did, like back when Obama was president, he moved it up to $800, which means that you can send anything across the border. Doesn't matter where it's been made. You get to ship it across the border, and if it's under $800, it doesn't get duty or taxes put onto it. That is still in effect. We don't know when or if it will disappear, but that is still in effect. Anything. Now, the thing to keep in mind about this, and a lot of people don't even realize this, is if something was over $800, there are still duties and taxes that are levied on those things that are part of just normal taxes. So, as an example, there may be a certain type of lamp that is made in Japan, and those lamps that are made in Japan have a 10% duty on them. But because it's under $800, it's not getting charged. If it was a $900, it would get that duty normally charged. This de minimis potentially, if it gets removed, means that every single thing will have duty and taxes charged onto it. So there's a big debate as to who should pay that or anything like that. We may do an extra show next Tuesday just to sort of update everybody on what's happening with it and talk about how we're looking at pivoting our sales. But in essence, right now, it's business as usual. The de minimis means that you've got stuff from wherever it's made, doesn't matter. It can go from Canada into the States. So we're just saying, don't stop your business, but be prepared at any point that you might have to pivot your business. That's kind of what we're saying. So, and it is, I guess it's paralyzing in a way. And I think, Carl, you sort of mentioned it as sort of one way to look at it, and because it's paralyzing us too. We're doing a lot of double guessing about everything we're about to list and when we're going to list and what's sold and hasn't sold. Can I sell this now? Should I list this now? Can I get rid of it today before what is the? So there's a lot of that going on in our heads, and who's going to pay for it? Like, it's not something like, fortunately, but unfortunately, Elisa, you don't have to worry about it from the reselling aspect of selling something like the Canadians have to, but you'll have to look at it as a potential thing, saying, well, what if I decide I want to order something from Canada or order something from Temu? Those things
I know. I can't. I can't. You know, I'm not even looking at. I mean, I shouldn't, but I'm not looking at Temu anymore because I'm afraid.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I read an entire article about women in Mexico who have. They're resellers in Mexico who literally buy clothing from Temu and Shine and sell it into the States, and that's their entire income. And they're worried because now they aren't potentially going to hit something because it won't be able to come into the U.S. from them. So they may get it cheap, but they can't really. They're trying to figure out how do you get rid of it. And that's like us. I'm sure a lot of you as thrifters. I know, Carl. We know you have because we've seen it behind you before. You have a ton of shit. Pardon my friend.
What are you guys saying? Yeah.
We have twice as much as you do, probably.
Right.
And I know that, like, Elisa, you had like a storage unit that garages you were emptying out. So, Adrian, you don't have as much, but I'm sure that there's a lot of people in the chat that have like a lot of stuff that the idea when you're buying it is not to go, I might not sell it tomorrow, but I'll sell it. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that the thrift stores are starting to get the huge drop, because people are like, when am I going to get a chance to sell this? So it's a really weird kind of position we're in. So yeah, Lisa has a house full there. So there's a lot of stuff. Serge is saying, my sales to the US came to an abrupt halt last night. And I think the main thing to keep in mind is take a look at what your platforms are allowing you to do and what the cross-border shippers are allowing you to do. So as an example, if you list on eBay and you list on the ebay.com, make sure you're listing your item as being available, that it's shipping from and located in Canada, because they will protect you. If it goes to the States and the States all of a sudden releases it, the duty is there, you will be protected by eBay. Etsy's got protections put into place now too for Canadian sellers. So just keep in mind those things. Take a look at your cross-border shippers if you're using them, and try to, if you can, go to the craft group where we try and keep you as up to friggin' date as possible. You don't know how many hours Rick and I spend searching through all this stuff, trying to validate the things, and how many posts we have to turn down from people who are like just babbling stuff that we don't know if it's actually true or not. So We will keep you as best abreast of all of that. And now let's get into something fun, which is sales.
Yay!
A lot of yay, jazz hands sale. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 2 of ours that were things that we recently talked about on shows, and just to show you that things can still sell. This was if you remember, we had the Tiny Tim little poster and the little signature. There, the sign thing from Tiny Tim that we got, and that is sort of found in a box in that estate sale stuff that we ended up getting, and managed to pop that onto eBay, and it sold for $99 US. The entire lot was 80.
Nice.
And 80 Canadian. And we got 2 of these. So I have another one, but I'm waiting a month before I put it on again because I didn't want to do them 1, 2, like right at the same time. And another thing we chatted about, which was from one of our hauls, was the little homie hoppers. With those little ghetto guys. We did not realize that this had actually been out of the box, because it actually had been out of the box and played with. So I had to reduce the price a little bit, because sealed, these were selling for 200 plus, but we managed to sell both of them, and this one sold for $150. So the other one sold for $125. So $275. I bought these. I think it was $19.99 each.
Nice.
So just keeping you up to speed on a couple of things that we did show you. And then one other, which Rick was thinking.
You have to show the video for the homie hoppers. It's so cute.
Okay, here's the video.
I was laughing at Rick saying homie hopper.
That's cute. Okay, that was worth showing. Yes, that's awesome.
Then we did talk about other places we're selling. And we did mention that we found these teak wood chairs at the thrift store for, I think they were $11.49 a piece. So it cost us almost $45 for them. I remember Diana, one witch lady, made a comment going, "Ooh, these are nice." Now the thing was, they had horribly made seats on them. Like somebody had done a really bad job redoing the seats on them. They were some company from Montreal. You can see the really bad sort of pattern on there. We decided to put them in a max sold. And whenever we do something in a max sold, we put them in, we never put a set of 4. We split them into a set of 2. One, there might be people who actually only need 2. And they might say, I don't want to buy 4 chairs. I only need 2. I got a small house. So we put them in 2 different sets. And we actually got 132 for the one pair and 144 for the other pair. So we got over $275 for that $45 investment. So, and max sold is a nice, obviously local kind of thing to look at. So now let's go to one of the birthday girls things. It's Ben Weasel. Punk is a 4-letter word. Now you sell some weird stuff. This is one of them, but what is this?
I don't think that's my listing.
It is, isn't it?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it was. You sent me that back in February.
Okay. Well, let's see if it is.
Well,
Go ahead.
how about this? Is this yours? Life in the
that's
colony?
mine too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not as interesting. Though. That sounds interesting. Go back to the other one.
Go back to the punk thing. It looks like a comic book of some kind.
No,
that's
it's
yours. It might not be your picture. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, who's the seller?
Mondo Punk Occult something or other. That's
not
your
mine.
picture,
Nope.
but it was the link. That's why. Okay. But this is you. Before Life in the Colony. This is what, books?
Yeah, the other one's more interesting.
Well,
Okay.
no, it's still interesting because you ended up getting $25 for some 36 lectures.
Yeah, it's a series. The great courses. I picked them up at estate sales. Like in bulk. And they used to sell a lot faster, like during right after the pandemic. People were, like wanted to learn stuff. So but this, this sold really well. Some of them were worth more than others. Especially you have to have the DVDs and the book. Yeah, you can't just have one or the other. Yeah, I guess homeschooling. You're right.
Okay, let's pop on to a Carl sale, which is.
Oh yeah. This one cracked me up.
This thing that looks literally like a bunch of broken ass toys.
I know, right? And I think I even gave some away, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna look to see if these are actually worth anything." All of these came just in one, Value Village thing for who knows, $4.99 or something. And it's like, well, I'm just gonna just double check to make sure that they actually have value, and I should stop giving them away to kids at the flea market. I don't really have any information on what you should look for. I just got them cheap and in big bulk. Yeah, they have little suction cups. 60 American. I was happy with that.
I'll say.
So,
Wow. Oh, stick bots. I know what they are. I use them.
Oh,
They are for. I do. Yeah, they're for using with the green screen, stop motion animation. I do with the kids. They're little suction cup dudes with little accessories. They're pretty crappy because the suction cups don't work.
No, they don't.
But the kids love them. They pull their heads off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they do that to my Legos too.
Well, that's a nice sale though for $60 for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was
totally.
it was easy. I just threw them on the thing and okay, done. And then when I went to ship them, I just threw them in a box. It's like, okay, done. I like that.
Let's pop on to an Adrian one that's sort of like this, but not kind of in the same world.
Oh yeah.
Tupperware. Zoo something. Do it yourself. I always pick these up whenever I see them because they always sell really quickly. This one's had a lot of paint loss, and so I didn't expect to get a lot for them. See, their eyes are sort of missing paint, but it went literally like that.
Oh, googly eyes! Add googly eyes.
So I took $15 for them, but $50 is $50.
Nice.
I get paid like $2.50 for them.
I'm going to show you one of ours, which was an Etsy sale, and I think I did mention this when I think we found them. This was actually something I got at an estate sale. There was all these little things, and they're called spin shades. So they sit on a little light and spin around. So this was what I bought at the estate sale, was all of these spin shades for $11. And I tried selling them for the longest time, and I couldn't get anything to bite. So what I ended up doing, really lucky, I happened to go by a thrift store and found the shades in a box with the light. So I redid the listing so that you were getting not only the light and its 4 things, but you were getting all of the spin shades. And I put the entire thing, and we put this on Etsy for $100 US, and it actually sold in Canada to a Canadian for $150.
Oh wow!
It went about an hour north of where we live. So even though we listed
did a video for that as well, it's cute.
You and your videos.
Show my work.
There's your videos. No sound, so.
It's a small world after all. What is SpongeBob?
Wow!
I can put it on.
It's a giant giant. Like the giant hand comes down.
It's kind of weird.
Godzilla.
Why would you want
Yes, I do admit they are a little on the strange side. That is for sure. But it was something I thought, oh well, when I saw them at the thrift or at the estate sale, and it was a box for $1 a piece. I couldn't really resist it being $1 a piece. It was like, no, I have to get these because this is ridiculous. I can't pass those up. But I don't know why. I just said I can't pass those up. Like now, I probably would pass them up. I don't know. I don't know what I'd shop for anymore with everything the way things are going. This is a interesting sort of metal item, I guess. This is Elisa. This is yours. Is it?
It sure is. It sure is.
In case I picked, I don't know whose.
escargot?
Is it Wawa? It's cast. It's a what the hell is that called? It's a some with a G. Griswold. It's a rare Griswold. Yeah, I just sold that on. I just mailed that yesterday. It's a Muffin Man. That's a great picture I took.
Muffin Man.
It's a Muffin Man.
Did you sell the Muffin Man?
Do you know the Muffin Man?
You guys are Drury Lane.
$100.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Griswold. Wow.
Griswold, I learned from watching Resellers for a million years about, that Griswold, especially, is really collectible, and don't clean it because you don't. Yeah, that means it's Rick. That means dirty. Yeah. Yeah, I took it like I blessed blue in the cups before I sent it to make sure it wasn't disgusting. But yeah, I put in the listing, will not clean, so it will to destroy the value or something like that.
Tina's saying, and you complained about no sales.
I had like 2 really good sales in like the same day. Actually, 4 including Poshmark. It weighed 4 pounds. It was
Yeah, anyone who actually sells or buys cast iron and the higher quality cast iron, it really is best to leave it up to them to reseason it using whatever method that they've determined is best for their products. I remember about 6 years ago, I picked up a cast iron fish plate that was completely rusted. We listed it for about a year, rusted. And I thought, nah, nobody's really looking at this. So I actually took the time to figure out, I looked online and saw how easy it would be to season this particular dish. So I went through the instructions and listed it the next week, and it sold within 2 hours of listing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it is possible to season things, but for higher value things like Griswold, I'd probably leave it to the buyer.
Exactly.
Now, since we are since you did say, you've got a good, I'm going to show, I think this is going to hit, this is the best sale for the whole show. And it is, Elisa, so it is just amazing. When I opened this up, I was like, holy crap. Take a look at this really cute lamp.
Oh God, I walk right by.
Little fat boy
I would grab
singing lamp, right? It's just like a little graduation or pilgrim, who knows what the heck it is. Well, she knew what it was. Look at his little face.
It looks old from there.
It's 3.5 or 3 pounds 2 ounces.
It's a baby boy.
Wow. Well done.
$500.
Wow. Okay, no more complaining about no sales.
Yeah.
That was one day I made the cast iron sale on this sale, and they didn't want the lampshade, so I got to save a little bit of shipping on that, because it was just like I was at an estate sale maybe a year ago or maybe more, and I'm like, there's nothing there. And I was chatting with the person running the sale, and I took a picture of it. I'm like, holy crap, what the hell is this? Because there was nothing else to take a picture of. It's from the 1950s. It's an Italian ceramic Abbott lamp.
So honestly. Did you have to use like Google Images to figure out what it was? Because I don't see any markings on it.
Nope. There's no markings. It has little cute little feet in the front. There's my little fat fingers. It was. I Googled it because there's nothing else to take a picture of, and I bought it for, I believe it was $10 because it was the last day of the sale.
Nice.
Wow. And no one else.
Yeah, I mean, you would think it would be like it wouldn't be from the 50s, but it's like it was apparently a thing. I don't know. And it's Italian, so, and there's actually a matching woman, I think. And I had so many people say, thank you. I had so many people say, you're charging too much. You're charging too much. I'm like, just let it ride. Yeah,
I've had that with really high value items. You're charging too much, and then you get the price. And then you're like,
that's how Rick prices a lot of those statue-y kind of things that he picks up. He just picks a price and then goes, and sometimes they sit for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they go fast, but how long did this take to sell, Elisa?
About a year. I mean, it doesn't take up much room. It wasn't taking up much room, and I'm just, it shipped yesterday, and I pool noodled it to the extreme. And I'm like crossing my fingers because it's only going to Maryland, which is only one state away. And I'm like, and I put it like, do not crush, fragile, like warning signs all over the place on the box. Don't drop, don't stack. I will kill you.
That the hat and the book I'd be worried about. That's the
breaking off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
but not having to ship the lamp at the top there, the whatever it's called, the shade. The shade is a big thing. Like I could see that getting damaged, so it's kind of nice not to have to ship that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I made sure I put in the in the communication with the buyer. I said just to clarify, you do not want me to ship the shade because I don't want them to come back not as described, and so they said no, don't ship the shade. Maybe it'll save me some shipping. I'm like, nah, that's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, and they just said it's close. You should have driven it there for the $500.
I'd be tempted sometimes. Yeah.
I would be tempted too. Adrian sold a couple of things outside of eBay, though. We did have a Mac sold, and again, part of the thing that's happening for us is in terms of the pivoting is looking at different platforms. And Mac sold is something that's available for us in our market. Local auctions, you should also, like everybody, I think, should be starting to think about those. If you're a Canadian seller, taking a look at high bid. If you don't have Mac sold around, looking at Mac sold. If you do have it, unfortunately, there's no discount codes or anything with the new owners, so they don't give any discounts on anything. Or look at somebody who's running a high bid in your area and see if they'll consign for you, because we've actually found a couple of people who will do that as well. So it could cost you between 30 to 35, 40% when you're doing these kind of consignments, but that's pretty well regular. And if you look at it and you do eBay with promoted listings, or if you're doing Etsy and you're part of their 15% for Etsy ads, you're in the 20-ish%, 22%, 23% already. So it's potentially a way for you to get rid of some other stuff. So Adrian put a couple of things in our last Mac sold. Here were two of the things that he put in. There's one right here.
This is awesome. Guess where I sourced that from?
Oh, no, this isn't from that lot.
No, it's from Mac sold. It's not from that lot.
I was going to say, you have nothing left from that lot.
I got that. No, I do actually. It's some stuff left. But no, I got this from a Mac sold auction in the basement. It was covered with filthy boxes of random stuff. I still have another couple of dolls left, a whole bunch of clothing. I just took it home, cleaned it, and then I thought this is too big to ship, and I put it in Mac sold, and I'm really pleased with what I got because I paid $24 for it.
$81.
Yeah.
We were really surprised. That's a really good price for that on Mac sold.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who bought it is paying an additional 30% on top of that.
And I still have more stuff to sell.
There's actually a really nice story behind the lady that picked this up.
Oh, yeah?
She bought it as a birthday gift for her husband.
Oh.
And her husband is dealing with some health issues. So again, she bought it for his birthday, something he's always wanted as a child, never had it. So she's giving it to him so he can have something to enjoy while he's going through this major health crisis.
And I threw in a big gym to go with it.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
so that he actually could have the big gym to go with it when we heard about that.
Yeah, so it went to the right person, Adrian.
Who's Big Jim?
Awesome. That's awesome. And what's more, to be back on the market in no time.
I think, did you have a Big Jim in your hand there, Adrian?
Yep.
That sounds dirty.
Big Jim was a muscle guy that he has a button in his back that makes his arm move in a nasty position. But he also, this is so 70s. He actually, his arms are made of rubber, and as you flex his biceps grow. So he actually gets big biceps. And this was, strangely enough, the one toy my dad would let me buy and didn't realize why I wanted it. Like,
this reminds me of.
I said, can I have a Big Jim or 3 or 5?
I'm part of the big.
It reminds me of that bust Barbie that they had in the movie, like the one that would puberty Barbie that would her chest would increase.
Growing up Skipper, and that you roll her arm
There you
around
go.
and her bust comes out. Yes.
Oh my god.
There's a bunch of different big gyms. So there's ones with a beard. There's Big Jeff. There's Big Josh. There's Big Jack.
It's a party.
And they're very, very San Francisco gay. Like they're all in their tweed, like their checkers shirts and their lumberjack stuff and everything like that. But
Awesome.
also, though, speaking of ducks, no, we weren't speaking of ducks. This was something else that he put into our sale.
It's just a curio shelf that I've gotten a lot of random stuff. And I also had these little miniature ducks and geese. And they were just sitting around. And so I said, I want these miniature things. And so I'll put them on the shelf and sell them as a lot. And there was no movement all week. Until the day of the auction, no bids. I was like, well, this is going to come back to me for $1 or I'll go for $1, one of the two. But it didn't go for $1.
Went for 43.
Mm-hmm. I was very pleased.
That's good.
Yes, he did. He had an axe with a log that you held the axe and he could split the log and everything like that. He is shorter compared to G.I. Joe. Yes, that's very true. And I think Lisa asked, Maxwell has a 30% buyer's premium. No, they don't have a 30% buyer's premium. They have an 18% buyer's premium, but then you pay the local taxes. In Ontario, that's 13%. So it actually adds up to be 28%. So we just rough it out at saying it's 30%. So they're making money on both ends, on the buyer side and on the seller side now. But their new owners, they're not doing any discounts. They're not giving Craft any discounts, anything like that. They're just everybody's discounts, if they had any, even though we've been advertising them and selling on them for 6 years, ours are basically wiped out as well. So it's like, okay. It's just an alternative platform. And I think the thing that I'm trying to say there is like, keep your eyes open for alternative platforms that you can actually start looking at and selling, because it's the kind of thing that we all sort of start needing to have to do now. This is Carl's, and I think it's something that you've talked about before. It's sort of like it's one of your standard things to find.
Yeah. I just wanted to say these are still really good. I picked them up. I just picked up $100 worth of cassettes just the other day. You can still find them. They're so easy to ship. They're so easy to sell, and they go quick. You want to get the higher value ones, of course. But if you're not looking for cassette tapes, you're really missing out because they're easy to find.
They actually, you know what? I pass them by. Those are one of those things that I try to sell, and I can't sell it no matter how much we try. So next time I find them, Carl, I'll figure out how to send them to you.
There's just some you have to avoid, like the really cheap ones. But it's so easy. That's the thing, right? And and like Rick just said, we aren't able to sell them. Like for me, they go fast, like within a week or two, if I price them right.
Did this go fast, Carl?
So, why am I showing this one? I'm showing this one because there's a lot of these things out here, and this one, I sold some in the booth, and I sold this one online, and this is my hairy arm, and you have to be careful because so much of this doesn't have value, so you have to be a little picky, and you have to make sure there's no damage to them, around the side mirrors. But I was just showing this because it's just a little something, it wasn't that bad.
Hairy arm.
Hairy arm, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I honestly thought that was going to be a VHS cassette rewinder.
Oh yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Yeah. I thought it was actually going to be Maisto, Maisto, because that's a lot of the cars you see that are like Porsches and stuff like that are. I think Maisto or Maisto is the name that I'm looking at.
The frustrating thing is there are a lot of these that sell for like $10-15 for the same size. It's big. Did I put a ruler? Did I break my own rule?
No, you didn't have that anywhere in there.
Huh.
No.
Well, the scale is 1/18, so
you can tell by your hairy arm.
Hairy arm. Yeah.
Who needs a ruler when you have a hairy arm?
I wouldn't know.
Let me just see. Let's go back to another one of Elisa's. There's a. Is that?
Is that Maggie?
Well, that's yours. I was gonna say, that's not ours. That's
Maggie.
yours.
Maggie.
It's time for a Stetson hat.
Yeah, fedora.
That
Yep.
will go-
It took a long time to sell, honestly. I actually had it put on with Stetson is a good name in any case, but the I kind of attached it to an episode of a TV show where the main character was like, he was wearing that as like almost like a new like he was a newspaper man, and he was wearing the hat to go along with it with like a feather in it. And I'm like, so I kind of attached it to that show, and I think that's what sold it, honestly. Not for much, but it's better than nothing.
Well, no, and the thing is that you're talking about selling something here as well. That's a used hat. Like I was trying to show, it has the sweat stains and everything inside it, and some people would stay away even from anything that might be used like that, because it would be like, well, I wouldn't do something like that. That somebody would buy that because there's sweat stains in it. It's like, no, that's not necessarily true. There's a flip that's a $35 flip plus shipping for something that many people would just go, I'm not going to touch this. I don't want to deal with something like that. I'm going to show you a couple of others from us. One of the things that we did, I'll stick with Etsy right now. We're using crossless magic, which we tell people to do all the time. And we're trying things where we might build it in one platform and move it to another. And so we're building things in eBay. And if it hasn't sold in eBay for a while, we may try and move it over to Etsy with crossless magic, or we may even try and move it over to Facebook with crossless magic, or Posh. We're going to start trying to do it a little more with Instagram for promotion. This happened to be a Furby. And there are so many Furbies on eBay, I decided I'm not going to even try and list it on eBay. For Rick's sake, here is his video, because we don't have sound on Etsy, but it's still good if you've got something that does movement to put that on Etsy. So people can't hear it, but they actually can see that it's a working Furby. And in this case, we actually ended up selling Furby for $113 for the giraffe, Canadian.
Wow.
This is a thrift store purchase that was probably anywhere from $3.99 to $5.99 at the thrift. We have sold, I think, 4 Furbies now on Etsy, and there just are not a lot of them there. So that's the other thing is to look at, is if you're looking at something where you have 25 people selling or 200 people selling Furbies on eBay and 20 selling on Etsy, maybe you think about where you want to put something on that. There's another one we had, and this, I think Rick found this. I'll pop him on since he's the guy.
I was going to say, with Furbies, just watch out for the battery compartment, because often they are corroded, I find.
Yes, actually, that's one of the things that you do is a big risk, unless you're going to do it in the store, is we risk Furbies. We'll look them up. This would happen to be the giraffe, so I knew it was a little harder to find, and Emotronics are really good, but you have to take them home and try them out. I think we have 2 Furbies downstairs that cost $3.99 or $4.99, and they don't work.
Yeah.
The eyes go kooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of how-to videos on YouTube that you can try to readjust them. I'm not talking about the ones where you peel the skin off.
Ew.
It's poking people in the eyes or in the mouth to reset the little sprockets inside. Sometimes that works.
Helping your Furby with Rick Belanger.
I've tried that. It's horrendous.
Degloving your Furby.
Oh, that's a horrible word. That's a horrible word. Craig, I resent you that. I resent you that link with the punk rock thing.
Oh, okay. Sometimes Rick uses a turntable on some stuff, but in this case, I don't think he didn't. But this is something I don't think he uses a turntable on.
It has to make sense.
This is something that Rick found, I think. And
yes, I found that at a thrift store for 99 cents.
Wow.
You should have left it.
It's lucite. It reminds me of the big flowers that are in the little inflated cushions that you used to see at grandmother's house.
Sold it for $75.
I like it now.
Other similar ones have sold for more.
Yeah, we actually did find it. I did a lot of the research on this, and one of the things was there's actually ones like this, and on the actual leaf itself, there's actually a name which is Corelli. So we actually called this Corelli styled,
Right.
as opposed to. So we
It
kind of
reminds me of-
keyword spammed it a little.
But the thing is bigger than my face.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we don't have
It
his
reminds me of
Harrier
Frank-
in there.
ugh. It reminds me of Georgia O'Keeffe a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Ew.
No.
You should have put your hairy arm in there.
Sorry, wrong audience.
No.
So yeah, nearly 12 inches wide. So almost a foot wide. So
Oh,
and
a
9
foot
inches
wide.
tall. So it's a big Georgia O'Keeffe there. For sure.
Okay.
Can we get to a
It spoke to me.
conversation?
I'll remember that one, I think. But if it's a foot wide, it's kind of hard to miss.
Yeah.
That's funny. I would never have guessed it was that. Like that. Okay, cool.
And here's a Carl.
Oh yeah,
Everybody
these still
knows it.
sell.
Oh.
They repop them, but the next generation does say it's second generation or something, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up. They're easy to, you find them once in a while, but often you have to pay up because people will know. But still, that's good money for me.
So yeah, so
Wow.
that was I think our biggest flip total from 2023, Rick.
Yeah.
Where we found like the lot
2022,
of,
2023, yes.
2023, and I think we found a lot of like 22 of these,
Crazy.
and we put them on Etsy, and we put them on for $80 US, and sold all of them for like $80 US, and they
sold very, very quickly.
very, very quickly. Yeah. So this is one thing I'll tell everybody. Here's my little secret per se on these, because we did do this at one point, is we actually went onto eBay and we bought some from other people who low priced these, because the price of them has moved up dramatically from where it used to be. It used to be in the 30 or 40 range. And when we started pricing them and realized we could get $80 for them, literally I started flagging it, and it was on my eBay like look for thing, because you just again you have to look and see what it is. There's 5 or 6 different kinds of Lennoxes out there, and only certain ones from the Spice Village like get that kind of money, and you have to look at the bottom of it. But there's a Country Village, there's like a couple of other cottage kind of things. They've reissued these as well, so it's something you really want to keep a lookout for. So as a reseller, don't forget, just like Adrian bought something from Max Sold to flip on Max Sold, take a look at what may happen to be on eBay, and you may be actually able to find something there that you can actually buy and then flip yourself without even doing much work into it. This is something that Rick will not let me buy, but Elisa, you sold.
Popcorn. Yeah, that is a melted popcorn piece. With St. Patrick's Day coming up eventually. I think it's this month, right?
It is.
That was a case of I was trying to locate something for a few days, and I moved it out of the way, and it sold. And that happened. Yeah, it was like I would never have known where it was unless I was looking for something else, which I could not find, by the way. I had to refund, but yeah. So I'm like, all right, the magic works. Touch it just touch it to move it, and it will sell. It's a miracle.
Rick, no, I have. Lisa says she has a popcorn angel that's broken, and she needs to figure out how to fix it.
Yep,
I would sell it. I would sell it broken. Ship it that way so it's smaller.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing I object to, Craig. The fact that they are so big and brittle, and I'm afraid they will break in shipment and we'll wind up having to refund, and we'll lose money. So for me, it's not worth it. I also don't really like them.
No, you don't like them at all. This is another one of these.
I use the record box.
That would make a lot of sense. Adrian, one of your little bunny.
Yes, it's
Oh.
a vase by something texture tiles or something. This was up there for a long time, and it just didn't move and didn't move and didn't move. I had people lowballing offer it constantly. It was my highest watched thing, and then finally someone just said fuck it, and someone said darn it, and paid the full price.
It's cracked too, eh?
It does, yes.
I love that it's like a little grubby. Could use a wash.
Oh.
And here's another one of yours.
Oh, this is great. This is a great story because I went to go see Spider-Man Far From Home at the movie theater, and I did not buy the popcorn bucket. I just bought a drink and some Twizzlers. And then as I was leaving the theater, sitting on a chair was this popcorn bucket. I went, "Oh, I'll have that. Thank you very much." And then threw it up just a few months ago. It's been sitting in my pile forever, and boom, like that. Literally was a minute gone.
Oh, it's a metal one. Like it's a metal bucket.
Yeah. I have a Star Wars one. I have two other Marvel ones.
The Deadpool one was hilarious with Wolverine.
Oh,
yeah.
And I see. This is another Carl.
Oh yeah, this one upset me. So I love Dungeons and Dragons. It's my thing.
Gary
And-
Gygax just passed away.
Me
Oh,
too.
did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, last week.
Oh wow. Anywho, this was in great condition and it's really cool. I like the graphic. And it's like, I didn't keep this in my collection, but I'm going to put a super high price on it. And that way no one will buy it. And I get to keep it in my collection. And then some bastard bought it. And then they were even cruel and said, "Oh, this is awesome. This is in great condition. Thank you very much." It's like, well, I hope you enjoy it.
How dare they tell you it was in great condition? Thank you.
I cried a little bit.
That's funny. Craig always says to me when I put stuff up that I buy, and he goes, "Why is that on display in your house?" I was like, "Beautiful. I like it. I want to have it out for a while." He goes, "Well, you should sell it." I said, "I am selling it. It's just on eBay for a very high price. If it goes, it goes."
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I did. It was on my shelf over there. Now it's gone. So I guess I should have picked a higher price.
I'm sorry to laugh at Carl's pain.
I'll do it as well.
You're not the first.
One of the things that we tried is doing some more things on Facebook, and we've actually done a couple of things recently where we've actually done better on Facebook. We've sold over $500 on Facebook in February, and we've never sold that much before. But there's a way that we're trying to deal with some of the things on there, and one of them is bulking things up. And we're actually finding in some cases, if we put a good big lot of stuff together that might be $5 or $10 items, it's going faster. We're getting more interest in the things going off fast. And sometimes it's just trying to move something. So I had something that I put on Etsy and eBay, and I hadn't done it. So I did that cross-list magic. I moved it over to Facebook, and we put on this Peanuts quilt. It's literally a twin-size comforter that is got all the Peanuts characters on it. And I actually ended up selling it on Facebook Marketplace in Toronto, shipping it to Barrie. So and 45 minutes away. They paid $25 shipping on it, and I sold the quilt for $50 Canadian. So I picked this up for like $7 or something like that at a thrift store. Another thing we had picked up and found as we're preparing for one of our next Max Solds is we had all these Asian records, and we've talked about them in the past. They were vintage Japanese records. We paid like $20 or $30 for like 200 of these things. I had so many of them. We've gotten rid of them over time, and we found another case of them. And I was like, "Oh my God, how many of these things are they multiplying? What the hell's going on?" So I decided I'm putting them in a big lot. So I literally did a lot of like 40 of these things, and I put them on. And I thought, you can go as deep as trying to figure out who that person is and if one thing sells. And some of them can sell for their listing for 30, 40, 50 bucks, but I didn't see that many selling. It's just people asking for $100 and shit, stuff like that. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna be ballsy and I'll ask 150 bucks for the lot of 40. I literally got a message within 5 minutes after the post went up and said, "I can come by tomorrow and pay you 200." I actually had somebody tell me they will overpay my price on Facebook. That has never happened to me before. Normally, it would be, would you take $30 for this? Not would you? Can I pay you $50 more than you listed?
Are they Japanese?
Yeah, they're all Japanese.
No, but
Every
was
one
the-
of them
was
is
the
like
buyer
19
Japanese.
Huh?
Was the buyer Japanese?
No. And he was so happy. He came by the next day. He gave me the $200. Said, if you ever find more stuff like this, give it to me. My brother is a DJ. He's going to sample some of this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's great. So again, it was a $200 sale. And again, and then that was a $50 sale, both on Facebook, which I was so used to. It's almost like I was, but Charmaine and Brian Camphorse, who are in the chat right now, have been an inspiration to me to be trying more things on Facebook Marketplace, because they do very well on Facebook Marketplace locally. I'll tell you, my one cheat that I always say is I tell people they're not mine. I tell people they're Adrian's.
What?
Well, I don't tell them specifically they're yours, Adrian, but I tell people they're a friend of mine who lives far away from Toronto. And so they gave them to me to sell because they figured they'd be easier to sell in Toronto than they would be in.
I want to put these two guys up on eBay, not eBay, Facebook.
Which
giant Batman and Superman figures.
Oh, you've got them on Facebook?
I will. I'm going to put them
see,
up.
You think I'm bad? Charmaine sells them a family member mask. But I find that the thing is, when I say that, if somebody's trying to make some strange deal with me, it sort of stops them. Because it's like, these aren't mine to deal with. A friend of mine gave these to me to get rid of. I got rid of a bunch of Pokemon cards that way. I said that these are a friend of mine's Pokemon cards. He found them from last year's garage sale. I had 4,000 Pokemon cards in this box, all from 2021, 22. I tried them, selling them on all different ways, couldn't get any money for them. Put this big box together and said they're not mine. And I had 3 or 4 people go, hey, how about $30? I had about $150. And I got 2 people who said, I'll give you $130 and $150, and one of them showed up and gave me the $150. But it was like, I can't go down anymore. I don't, if they're not mine to go down on the price on. So I find that little cheap work.
Yeah, at the booth, I do some commissions, and it's nice when people try to lowball me on his stuff, because I say it's not mine, I can't, and that just gives the plateau to the bargaining, which is kind of nice sometimes.
I'm just trying to see if there's any other things I want to just quickly go through and show you, because Rick did want me to show you these things. These are his sales from the past couple of months. You may remember we had these martini glass girls that we found. I think they were $12 for 4 of them, Rick?
No, there are only 3.
3? There were 3
There
or 4.
Only
And
3.
they were
There are only ever
3. We sold the other 2. We listed them high at $79, and the champagne girl just went at the beginning of the year. You may remember we talked about this strange CD box set that we couldn't figure out was part of a Thrift It or Throw It, and we ended up buying it
For $10.
This on and sold that for $199.
Wow.
Well done.
Oh man.
And then he had the lovely partially naked lady lamp.
A boudoir lamp. I know I posted about this in our Facebook group, but I wanted to point it out here. This thing we paid peanuts for. I don't think Craig even noticed me putting it into the cart.
It just looks so cheesy to me, and then he still managed to sell it for $125.
Risque.
I can't believe that. I would not say pay 125 cents for that.
Well, that's you never know what one person's gonna do or buy. You can't tell, because if you could, then all of us, I think, would run into that one home and certainly grab this away before the last day.
Yeah, wow.
Rick, did you have the punk rock one, the book, by any chance? Or you did another time?
Craigie?
I have to go out to get it. Hold on.
Don't worry about it.
find it. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there. Here it is.
Yay!
There it is. Don't see it keeps coming up as Mondo Punk Occult.
Ah, that's weird. But I sold this book. It was about maybe 80 pages for, I think it was $120.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But yeah, so it is. Yeah, that's the link show back up again as Mondo Punk Occult, unless that's your other name.
Nope.
With
Yeah,
20,000
Mondo
items.
No.
You don't want me to answer that question, Lisa. You don't want me to answer.
Well, on that note,
Yeah,
I'll show you one last thing which we got for free. Somebody threw this out on the side of a street, and we decided to put this into our max sold. It was a lovely little oil painting, and thought
It was one of two.
One of two. It was free, and don't pass stuff up you see for free. Sold for $105.
Nice.
I think
No
the other
reason
one sold for
whatsoever,
40.
no. But you never know what's going to sell or who's going to want to buy it, and you never know what platform you're going to sell it on. So keep that in mind as we're coming up on our hour. Thanks to everybody who joined us here today. Thank you very much, Carl and Adrian and freaking birthday princess Elisa and Mr. Rick in the sub basement. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another normal show. We may do a show next Tuesday that will be about tariffs and just pivoting on your sales to look at other platforms and things along those lines. Depends on what happens with everything. Otherwise, our goal is just to sort of stay the course. The de minimis isn't affecting any of us, so try and keep selling. Maybe do one of the things that we are starting to do is we're looking at some of our higher priced items and trying to push them out fast. Instead of holding on to something and worrying about the de minimis, we're saying, you know what? I've got an item that might be a $400 item. I'm going to try and list it for $200 and see if people will just grab it. And then I won't have to worry about it, and it's gone.
Every time you say de minimis, I think you're doing Harry Potter.
De minimis!
I overthrew them.
But yes, thanks everybody again for joining us here. And remember, join us in the craft group. We'll be talking about anything we know that's new about all of this. And good luck with your March sales. Remember, March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. But if you can make it all the way through like a lion, that'll be even better. Try those other platforms. Bye, everyone. Thanks again.
Bye, everyone. Thank
Thanks
you.
for sticking around.
Good night.
Bye.